Returning to my apartment that morning felt like stumbling into a ghost of a life I no longer recognized. The weight of what I had done hung over me like an anchor pulling me under. The act itself so impulsive, so reckless had fractured something deep and irreplaceable. It wasn't just guilt that seeped into my bones. It was the aching certainty that my world, as I knew it, had collapsed. The space that had once been filled with warmth, laughter, and Daniel's steady presence had transformed into something hollow and unfamiliar. The apartment didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a shell, an echo of something beautiful I'd ruined. I stood in the doorway, clutching my bag with trembling hands, as though it could tether me to the reality I had just walked away from. The silence was deafening. Daniel's belongings, once a comforting part of our shared life, were gone. His closet, once brimming with neatly folded shirts and the faint, clean scent of his cologne, was now eerily vacant. The bathroom counter, once cluttered with his shaving cream and toothbrush, was pristine, stripped of every trace of him. The framed photographs, our adventures, our laughter, our love had vanished from the walls, leaving behind faint outlines where they once hung. I hadn't expected forgiveness. I didn't even expect understanding. Writing these words now feels like dragging my soul out into the light, exposing the raw truth of a wound I inflicted myself. I deserve the judgment. I know that. I don't ask for pity or redemption. I am fully aware that I shattered something precious, something real, something rare, and no one is to blame but me. Dr. Emily, my therapist, urged me to write, not to excuse my actions, but to face them head on, to understand the chaos that led to that night, and to start piecing together the fractured parts of myself. So I write, because even though every word feels like tearing open a scar, maybe it's the only way to survive this. Daniel and I had 3 years of love that felt almost too good to be true. He was the kind of man you only read about, steady, gentle, deeply kind. He grounded me when my mind spun out of control, held me when the world felt like too much, and saw beauty in the parts of me I spent years trying to hide. We were engaged. The wedding was days away. The plans were in motion. The venue, the dress, the flowers, every detail had been seen to, and yet, the closer we came to that moment, the more I felt something inside me unraveling. I didn't know if it was fear or exhaustion or something darker, something I didn't want to name. But instead of speaking to Daniel, instead of facing the doubts swirling inside me, I ran. Not physically, but emotionally. I buried my uncertainty beneath smiles and forced excitement. I let the pressure of perfection smother me, suffocate me, and in my desperation to reclaim some semblance of freedom, I made the worst decision of my life. The bachelorette party was my escape hatch, a selfish, thoughtless attempt to feel something other than fear. I ignored Daniel's simple request for a quiet evening, brushed off his discomfort with wild parties. I told myself it was just a night to blow off steam, but it wasn't. It became a descent into recklessness I could never undo. The night unraveled quickly. Too many drinks, too much noise, too many blurred lines. We ended up at a friend's apartment where a stripper had been hired. It was meant to be harmless, a joke, a laugh. But with each drink, my judgment dissolved. I remember the flirtation, the laughter, the adrenaline. I remember craving the rush of being seen not as someone's fiancé, not as someone responsible or composed, but as someone free, untethered. That's the lie I told myself. And then I crossed the line. I woke up in a stranger's bed, the shame rolling in like a thunderstorm. For a fleeting, horrifying second, I reached out, expecting Daniel's warmth, his voice, his steady breath beside me. But he wasn't there. He never would be again. The cab ride home was a blur. My heart pounded with every mile, dread creeping in with every passing streetlight. When I opened the door to our apartment, the emptiness struck me like a blow to the chest. His absence wasn't subtle, it was total, like he had erased himself from my life entirely. The rooms were hollow, stripped clean of his presence, and then I saw it on the kitchen counter. A single sheet of paper, 2 words scrawled in his familiar hand. Was it worth it? I sank to the floor, that note crumpled in my fist as sobs racked through me. The magnitude of what I had done crushed me. I had broken a man who had loved me without condition, without hesitation. I had betrayed the only person who ever made me feel truly seen. The days that followed blurred into endless stretches of grief. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I couldn't face the world. Friends called, but I ignored them. I had no words, only shame. Daniel didn't respond to any of my messages. He didn't answer my calls. Eventually, I discovered he'd blocked me entirely. He'd vanished, not just physically but digitally, emotionally, utterly, like I had never existed in his life. Desperate, I reached out to Mark, Daniel's closest friend. I wanted anything, a clue, a message, a thread of hope to cling to. But Mark's reply was brief, cold. Final, Daniel wants no contact. Let him go. And so, the final door closed. Weeks passed, then months, and the silence remained. The apartment felt like a mausoleum of what had once been a beautiful life. I'd walk into rooms expecting to find remnants of our love, but they only echoed with my regret. Therapy became my lifeline. Dr. Emily never judged me. She didn't offer platitudes. She made me face myself, piece by jagged piece. At first, I resisted. I wanted to pretend it had been a mistake, a night fueled by stress. But in truth, it was more than that. It was fear, self-doubt, a deep-rooted belief that I didn't deserve the kind of love Daniel gave me. And so, I sabotaged it, destroyed it before it could be taken from me. Now, all I'm left with is reflection. This confession, these words, my reckoning. Daniel will never read them. He's gone. And I've accepted that. He deserved better. I only hope that one day, the shadow of what I did doesn't haunt him the way it haunts me. As for me, I'm still climbing out of the ruins, still learning how to forgive myself, if that's even possible. But if nothing else, I'll carry this truth always. Some mistakes can't be undone, but they can be understood. And maybe, just maybe, from that understanding, something redemptive can grow.